Hey there, quirky folks! I'm your host, Anna, and today we'll be talking about the most anticipated superhero movie of the year, and it's none other than The Flash. Despite the controversies involving Ezra Miller, Warner Bros. Is still sticking behind The Flash in full support, and there are two reasons for it. First, they've invested a lot of time and money into getting this movie right. Secondly, The Flash has been testing highly positive on the test screenings. If the movie wasn't as good, then The Flash may have got the Batgirl treatment. It would have become another tax write-off for Warner Bros. But the studio believes that The Flash could be their best movie of the year. That's how good they think it is. And the proof for this comes from Twitter scooper Undercover Audience. This handle is known for leaking details from various test screenings. One might question the legitimacy of this account, but in this video, you will see why it is the real deal. Last year in July, UA reported that a test screening of The Flash has taken place, and it received very well. And then the account went on to reveal plenty of details from the film that totally matched with the recent trailer. But before we look at them, it would be nice if you guys would hit those like and subscribe buttons. With that out of the way, let's begin with the plot leak that comes from the Undercover Audience. It is widely known that The Flash is based off of the Flashpoint storyline, but makes quite a few changes to it. The usual character in the Flashpoint story involves the Flash, Cyborg, and Thomas Wayne's Bruce Wayne. Apart from that, there's a stunted Superman. And the finale of the event involves Aquaman and Wonder Woman leading their armies to fight against each other. But director Andy Muschietti and writer Christina Hodson changed these characters even though they've kept other aspects similar. Instead of Superman, we have a Supergirl. Instead of Cyborg, we've got young Barry Allen who regains his powers in a new way. Michael Keaton's Batman replaces Thomas Wayne's Batman. The final battle between Aquaman and Wonder Woman has been changed to add a Supergirl vs. Zod fight. Lastly, the villain of the film has been changed as well. And instead of altering one timeline, The Flash uses the multiverse to create a new paradox. Now coming to the details that Undercover Audience revealed, The Flash opens with a literal baby shower scene that will remind you of the amazing Quicksilver kitchen scene from X-Men Days of Future Past. In this scene, we see Barry replenishing his energy by snacking on food. And then he goes on to save a bunch of falling babies from Gotham General. This scene was also hinted at through this leaked concept art. And if you watch the trailer closely, you'll notice that this sequence taking place at the Gotham General is the one where we'll see the literal baby shower. The Flash is running upwards along the walls of Gotham General to save the falling babies right here in this shot. And guess who he steals food from right before doing this? It's none other than Games of Thrones star Nikolai Coster-Waldau. This also gets confirmed by Undercover Audience. He revealed that Nikolai Coster-Waldau's cameo in this movie is non-consequential to the plotline. He's just playing one of those guys from whom Barry steals a hot dog while speeding. The same happens with director Andy Muschietti's cameo towards the end of the film. But you have to keep in mind that these aren't the only two cameos in the movie. We've done a whole video on every cameo in The Flash, so be sure to check that out for every detail. But we'll run them down briefly in this video as well, so hold on for that. Moving on from the baby scene, we'll also get Batfleck's action sequence. And right after that, we'll get the conversation between Barry and Bruce, where Barry talks about running back to the past. This was also revealed from the test screenings, as Undercover Audience stated that it'll be a very emotional scene. Barry talks about going back to save his mom. Bruce Wayne, as we know, would relate to this. Batman vs. Superman showed how much he loved his mom. But he tells Barry why changing the past is never a good idea.
Bruce, I could fix things. You could also destroy everything.
Barry, however, doesn't understand and runs back in time anyway. He saves his mother from dying and alters the course of time. As I've previously mentioned, the act of Barry saving his mother causes a ripple effect throughout the timeline. It changes the past, the present, and the future. But here in the DCEU, the multiverse is being used. In the trailer, Barry says that time has a pattern that it can't help revealing.
Different people, different worlds, drawn to each other like magnets.
So as soon as Barry saves his mother, the whole space-time continuum gets shattered.
I completely broke the universe.
Different universes start to collide, and this is where Barry starts seeing heroes from other worlds. The creatives use CGI to recreate Adam West's Batman, Christopher Reeve's Superman, Helen Slater's Supergirl, and Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. There's also a Superman character whose face is blurred. This was supposed to be Henry Cavill's Superman. But now that James Gunn is recasting the Man of Steel, we might see a new actor get added to the scene. Sadly, there's no cameo of Grant Gustin's Flash. Moving on, these heroes in the space-time continuum do not interact with Barry in any way. After different worlds get pulled together, a new multiversal timeline is created, and Barry ends up in the year 2013. As Barry goes to his home to investigate, he finds out that his mom lives. His father is a free man, and there's also another 18-year-old Barry Allen who hasn't turned into the Flash yet.
My face. So my face.
After coming across him, the older Barry tries to find Arthur Curry. He searches and calls Thomas Curry, who tells him that he doesn't have a son. So by saving his mother, Barry actually wipes out all metahumans, including Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Upon realizing how he screwed up, the older Barry decides to go to the one man who advised him against time travel. He and young Barry go seek the advice of Bruce Wayne. But when they arrive at Wayne Manor, they get yet another surprise. Instead of Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, they find the older Bruce played by Michael Keaton. This is the same Bruce Wayne from Tim Burton's 2 Batman movies. But right now, he is retired, has long hair, and lives in a deserted Wayne Manor. The leaked McFarlane toys gave a description of Michael Keaton's character in the film. It states, and I quote, "When Barry Allen arrives in an alternate 2013, he urgently seeks out the expertise of his friend and mentor, Bruce Wayne. But the one he finds in the multiverse is different on all fronts. Older, long retired from service as Gotham City's protector, and somehow even more hardened than the billionaire superhero Barry has grown to know. With a global threat on the horizon, Bruce Wayne must decide whether he can become Batman once more." Unquote. Bruce asks the older Barry why he wants to stay in the newly created timeline, and he replies,
Because this is the world where my mom lives.
but since time has a habit of reliving itself, and it is the year 2013, General Zod comes in to threaten Earth. He asks people to release the Kryptonian they are harboring. Now, because there are no metahumans left, Barry totally panics because there's no Superman to save Earth. He tries to convince the younger that he needs to go back to his old timeline or else the world would end.
If I can't get back, there might not be a future.
Zod would destroy everything by terraforming Earth into Krypton. But since Barry doesn't have a way to go back to the original timeline just yet, he convinces the older Bruce into becoming Batman once again. And together, they go to release the Kryptonian that the government had been hiding. You see, in this timeline, the Kryptonian wasn't found and raised by a kind couple like Jonathan and Martha Kent. The government found her and locked her up to conduct experiments on her. But when Batman and the 2 Barry Allens go to release her from the prison she was caught up in, they thought they'd be releasing Kal-El. But as it turns out, this is Kara Zor-El, aka Supergirl, played by Sasha Calle. Then we see the whole prison fight. Following that, Bruce takes everyone back to the Wayne Manor. They explain the whole General Zod situation to her and convince her to fight on their side. But for some reason, they think that they still might be short-handed. So they also decide to recreate the experiment that gave older Barry his powers. They use a batarang to attract lightning. Then it passes through the older Barry and strikes the younger one. This is a new way of turning young Barry into the Flash. After getting his powers, he creates a Flash suit by remodeling Michael Keaton's old bat suit that he wore in 1992's Batman Returns. And together, everyone goes to battle to fight Zod and his army. But here they find another villain in the battle. Undercover audience mentioned that there was no Reverse Flash in the film, but neither do we see who killed Barry's mom. And the trailers and other leaks confirm that it was Dark Flash. Merchandise leaks spoiled his appearance. But apart from that, we also got a glimpse of him in the trailer where the 18-year-old Barry double kicks him. It is also rumored that Dark Flash's suit is made out of Kryptonian metal. While Supergirl fights Zod in the air, the 2 Barrys and Batman fight Dark Flash on the ground. It will be interesting to see if it is Michael Keaton's Batman who kills Dark Flash, just like Thomas Wayne's Batman killed Reverse Flash in the original story. But as Zod still proves to be too much to handle, Barry decides to run back to the original timeline to save everything. He makes the sacrifice of losing his mom yet again, and upon returning to the original timeline, he wins his dad's case and proves his innocence. After Barry fixes everything, even Jason Momoa pops up in the post-credits scene, setting up Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But as it turns out, Barry didn't totally fix the timeline. His actions will set up James Gunn's DCU. And in this rebooted timeline, the likes of Superman, Batman, and maybe even Wonder Woman will change. With this, the plot leak of The Flash comes to an end. The trailer proves that most of its elements will remain the same, but it will be interesting to see whether there will be some changes made to the test screening of 2022. Okay, that's all. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoyed this video, and do tell us what you think about this leak in the comments. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next one.